Welcome to The Good Life. I'm your host, Jakeem Stewart, and I want to thank you for joining us here at Drobe Stogies today. We have a very exciting show coming up. We are being joined by Esquire Ludlow CREARY II. He is a fellow cigar enthusiast and a Renaissance man in every meaning of the definition. I can't wait for us to get to talk to him. Let's go welcome him into the Stogie Shop.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Wonderful. Good
to see you, man. How you been?
Man, thanks for coming on in. Let's go in. You know where are we playing here? So what do you feel like smoking today, Ludlow?
You know, this Placencia right here, the Alma del Fuego,
Ooh.
the Toro, that's the
Okay.
one I want.
Okay. Well, help yourself.
Thank you.
I think for myself today, I'm gonna go with Oliva, the Meliano Serie V.
Good choice.
Yeah, the Robusto is enough for me with this cigar at this time. So let's go ahead and cut up our cigars and put some fire to them. Okay. And I'm gonna do. I think you're good there.
I still got my eyebrows.
Yeah, imagine that. Excellent. Let's go take a seat. So as you see, we are joined today with Esquire Ludlow CREARY II. I want to thank you for joining us. He is a fellow member of Drobe Stogies who decided to make a stop by the Stogie Shop today and talk to you about what's going on in his world. Thank you for joining us, Ludlow.
Thank you for having me, Jakeem.
Where did you have to come from? Where?
I came from the criminal court building in downtown LA.
Okay.
I had a case down there this morning at 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Serious case? Not so serious case?
Pretty serious.
Okay.
Can't talk much about it, though.
Okay, okay. I know you do big time things, but you're all over the world. You live out in Long Beach, right?
Yes.
Okay. How was the commute?
Commute was good this morning.
Okay.
It was about a 20-minute commute from Long Beach to downtown LA.
Now that's since COVID.
Since COVID.
Makes life a lot easier in that respect, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. So, Ludlow, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an LA native. When I was born, we lived in View Park,
Okay.
4962 Orinda Avenue.
Right up the street, 2 minutes away.
When I was 6 years old, my parents moved to Beverly Hills,
Wow.
Truesdale Estates.
So you had to be one of the first blacks living over there.
We were one of the very few.
Yeah.
I think the Avants, Clarence Avant, lived up the street.
And your parents knew them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Black Godfather, if you guys aren't aware of who Clarence Avant is, how was that transition from Baldwin Hills, which is a predominantly middle or upper middle class black area, to moving and being one of the few blacks in Beverly Hills? How did that experience?
Well, Jakeem, when we moved from View Park, I was so young, I didn't really know the difference. I just knew I missed my old house.
Right.
But culturally and socially, I didn't know the difference at that age.
Okay.
It sort of, that developed when I got older.
And you went to high school in Beverly Hills, right?
Yes, I went to, I started in the Beverly Hills school system in 7th grade. We graduated in Beverly Hills. Elementary school goes up to 8th grade. Prior to going to school in Beverly Hills, I went to UES.
Okay.
which was UCLA's lab school. And
Is that what helped transition your trip to UCLA?
no,
Okay.
no. And then so 7th and 8th grade, I was in the Beverly Hills school system, Hawthorne Elementary School.
Okay.
And then graduated from there in 8th grade, and then went to Beverly Hills High School.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So from 7th and 8th grade all the way through high school, that's when the impact of being outside of the community into which I was born really took effect.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. How did the community receive your father? I know your dad he's an immigrant from Jamaica.
Yes.
Doctor.
Yes.
So there's different treatments that you receive as a immigrant. There's different treatment that you receive as a doctor,
Yes.
as a black man as well. So that
Yes.
combination had to be interesting as far as the dynamic it played with your family.
Absolutely. And it was even more complicated than that because my mother's from New Orleans.
I see.
So my mother grew up in the Jim Crow South. So she understood the American caste system from experience.
I see.
My father grew up in a black nation.
Right.
So the American caste system didn't exist in Jamaica.
Right.
Basically everybody mostly everybody in Jamaica is black.
Right.
There's different, obviously there's groups that immigrated, Indian, East Indians, Chinese, obviously Europeans, but there's a sort of a mix there.
I see.
And it's culturally primarily a black nation. So my father comes from, he has an immigrant mentality when
Different
he came here.
mindset.
He had a different mindset.
Definitely.
And what I've noticed in America is that black people who are from other places aren't seen the same way as black people from here are.
They're put in a different category.
They're put in a different category.
Yeah.
Case in point, both my parents graduated from Howard. My mother did her undergrad.
HU, that's wonderful. Okay.
And I wouldn't exist if it weren't for Howard University.
I love it.
And my father graduated from medical school at Howard University.
Okay.
And then they got married and then came out to California. My father started his residency in Ventura, California.
Okay.
And he was the only black doctor in that residency program. And he was embraced, and he didn't deal with the overt racism.
Because they saw him as foreigner.
They saw him as different. They thought he was English,
Right. Right.
because of his accent.
Right.
My mother, on the other hand, and my older sister was born in Ventura. So my parents had their first child while they were living in Ventura, and my dad was doing his residency. So my mother was the only black doctor's wife
Right.
in the group.
I,
And so she, would socialize with the other mothers. And keep in mind, this is 1960 to 1962. So, very traditional family structure. The man goes out and makes the money, and the woman stays home and takes care of the kids. That's just how it was.
right. Right.
So my mother, would get together with the other mothers, and they called my sister a pickaninny.
And to your mother?
Yes.
Really?
So my mother got a taste of the racism.
It's not real until you get a personal taste of it.
Yes. Well, my mother was very familiar with the
Absolutely.
racism.
Yeah.
But she definitely experienced it in a familiar way, whereas my father, I don't think he did.
Okay. Do you think that your father's success played a role in opening more doors for you, or did it actually have the opposite effect of people giving you a harder time, making you prove yourself in ways that they didn't do to others because they expected you to keep up to his level?
I think to some extent it made things harder for me.
Okay.
One way it made things harder for me is that you know, I've had to get out of my father's shadow. You know, he's made such an impact in the city of LA,
Right.
particularly,
Right.
in the name, and I have the same name as my father. So I you know, for most of my life, I was associated with him as, oh, yo, you're Ludlow CREARY's son. You're Dr. CREARY's son.
Right.
And whatever comes with that, you know, oh, you're privileged. Oh, you know, you're from Beverly Hills, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You know, and, you know, you get a lot of, you know, you would get a lot of animosity. You'd get people that thought, oh, you know, maybe I can, if I become this person's friend, I can get something, you know, it's a way to get to his father or whatever. And, you know, my parents actually split up when I was 10.
Okay.
So primarily after that, I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. So I was raised by two Southern women, me and my siblings. There were four of us.
Okay.
And, you know, I like to say it this way. I got all the worst of being privileged, and none of the best at that point in my life, if that makes sense.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I got all the negative
People
reactions to, oh, well, you're from here, you're from, you know, you grew up in a rich area, you have money, you're this, you're that. I didn't have access to money, and I didn't get any of the benefits, really. You know, my mother was living and raising us pretty much as a single mother.
I see. So you still experienced adversity, though, that people who knew you or didn't know you, just knew you from the outside, might not be aware of the challenges that you were encountering.
Exactly.
Because they just saw you as a Beverly Hills student, and then at UCLA, I assume the same?
No, UCLA was much different.
Okay.
You know, UCLA, when I got to UCLA, I really got in touch with with my identity as a black man.
Okay.
You know, first thing that really set me off was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Yeah, that was important.
Yes, that was an awakening for me.
Okay.
At that particular time in my life, my mother bought a house over off of 36th Street.
Okay.
On 36th Street in South LA.
Okay.
Known as the Harlem Crips neighborhood.
Yeah, that's in the hood.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, this was in the mid-'80s, height of the crack era.
Crack was on the scene.
So from...
Bat-around.
Yes. So for the entire time that I was in college, I was living there.
Okay.
That gave me a whole new perspective.
Yeah.
So not only am I being awakened and enlightened and challenged intellectually in college at UCLA, but I'm living in the hood,
right,
in the middle of the crack era.
Right.
So that just...
So the block is hot and you got to learn how to navigate and coexist with everybody and find your way.
Exactly. But at the same time, I'm taking sociology classes that are giving me an ability to analyze the situation on a broader level.
I see.
I can actually, I'm actually living in it, but I'm actually studying it and trying to understand it at the same time.
Okay. How do you think that prepared you for the types of challenges you deal with professionally now, having to be in these different environments as a black man, going from the hood to the classroom to the courtroom? We seem to jump through we wear a lot of different hats.
I think I'm grateful for my experience growing up, Jakeem. I'm grateful for everything that happened to me in life. In so many ways, you know, I went down a path that was not typical. Starting in Black Beverly Hills,
right,
as they call it.
Right. Baldwin Hills.
Ending up in the real Beverly Hills, which is, you know, living amongst the 1%.
Right.
And then going and living Not going back to,
Baldwin Hills.
yeah, not going back to the black affluence, but going to the hood.
Real life.
The hood.
Yeah.
And all of those experiences before I was 25. So that really forged me as a person.
Yeah.
And it gave me the ability to operate in really all types of environments.
Made you very well rounded.
Yes.
That is the first thing I noticed about you.
Yes.
That's why you can talk on a multitude of topics.
Yes.
From hip hop, even though you're not my exact generation or class, we still have the same ability to tap in because you have this wide range.
Yes, I have
and
a
I
wide
assume
range.
from those experiences.
Yes. But keep in mind, Jakeem, I think my generation, my generation had Dr. Dre, Ice Cube.
That's my generation.
That's my generation. Those
Okay,
guys are all
okay.
my age.
Okay.
Don't let the gray beard fool you.
Hey, all right.
Jay-Z's not that much younger than me. Diddy's
Right.
not that much younger than me.
I guess in reality, I'm not that much younger than you. But yeah, so that gave you that wide range. Now, did you start playing music as a child?
I started playing guitar at 12 years old.
Okay, and did you play in college or was it just something?
Yeah, I had a band in college.
Okay.
We weren't very good.
For those of you that don't know, Ludlow is a member or founding member of Brown Suede, which is an active band. And I think we have a clip of them that we're going to show for you guys later. But he is active at night, living a whole different life, being a musician. So that's great.
Imagine a world where there is no fighting, everybody's loving, just laughing over nothing, 'cause we're living in peace, living life with ease. We don't need no police, all the hate and the violence cease. Wouldn't it be nice, maybe once or twice, we can get together, make the world a little better? Wouldn't it be cool, we could change all the rules? Or would you think I'm a fool, try to silence me too? Ooh, everybody listen, it's time to make a difference. Oh, in this world today, you gotta have a vision, and that's what we've been missing. Don't let it fade away, no. Yeah. Walking down the street on South Central Ave, thinking about all the things I thought I never had. Envisioning money and cars only first. Now I'm focused on breaking generational curse. Elevated things started to bother me. That was seeing my people living in poverty. And it's the vision on how it ought to be. Yo, can we make sure that it's brought to be? Wouldn't it be nice, maybe once or twice, we can get together, make the world a little better? Wouldn't it be cool if we could change all the rules? Or would you think I'm a fool, and try to silence me too? Ooh, everybody listen, it's time to make a difference. Oh, in this world today, you gotta have a vision, and that's what we've been missing.